The Cleveland Guardians are in a tie for first place in the middle of August, just like we all predicted. We're going to talk about the game, we're going to talk about standings, we're going to talk a little prospects on today's Locked On Guardians.
You are Locked On Guardians, your daily podcast on the Cleveland Guardians, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Guardians. Today's episode is brought to you by Blue Nile. Make your moments sparkle with jewelry from BlueNile.com. And going on right now is the Blue Nile Anniversary Sale. Save up to 40% on classic, fine jewelry and 25% engagement, ring setting. Shop stress-free and find your forever piece. Go to BlueNile.com today. I want to thank you for making Locked On Guardians, your first listen today and every day, wherever it is you get podcasts. I am Jeff Ellis, host of Locked On Guardians, as I have been since the inception of the MLB network here at Locked On. Before that, I was a lead draft and prospect analyst at Scout and 24/7. So let's talk about it. Guardians win, Twins lose, 57-52, identical records. Cleveland, same winning percentage. So Cleveland's in a tie for first. This is why I kind of wish they'd done a little bit or something to improve their roster. I had a listener, I think JD on Twitter was his name. I favorited the tweet, so I can give him creditation later. Asked me about Rule 5 historical stuff, so I actually spent a good hour and a half this evening. Because it turns out there isn't a database. Creating my own back to 1970. As I sometimes like to show on OBS. Here, let me share my screen. And there we go, some annoyance with that. But if you look, I went through every single year and just put it right out there. You can see how often the Guardians have lost players, how rarely they have drafted players. But that'll be something to come up on a later show. But since someone asked, I thought I would share. I did some of the research this evening. I was also waiting to see what happened across baseball, honestly. But Cleveland is now in a tie for first. They still have their issues. They're not a perfect team. Nobody is. But, they're a first place team right now. That is a huge deal. I don't think anybody... I know no one did. We sat there and did our preseason roundtable. And I'm like, hey, Cleveland is a better team today than they were last year. And last year they were hammered with injuries. Yeah, if this team didn't have Shane Bieber for most of the season, like a year ago, they wouldn't be in first place. But they've had a healthy Shane Bieber. And yeah, the velocity's down, but it doesn't change the fact that he's still incredibly effective. Been a top 3 pitcher in most American League stat categories the entire year. So go ahead. I still see people putting the Bieber doubt, the Bieber hate. He is still the ace of the staff. McKenzie, when he is on, is better. But in terms of consistency, Bieber's the ace of the staff, and it's not really a close competition. Cleveland is still a game out of the wild card, and Baltimore is half a game back, so they're farther back in the wild card than they are in the division. Cleveland has won 3 in a row. Minnesota's lost 2 in a row. One of those being the controversial obstruction call in Sunday's game. But I'll take it. I don't think we've had an official announcement for what's going to happen. I don't need to keep displaying image. Sorry, everyone, about that. That had to be really annoying. About who Aaron Civale is going to replace tomorrow. My personal thought after today's game and experience, maybe it's time for Eli Morgan to go to AAA. Not saying he needs to stay there. Not saying you need to send Eli Morgan down permanently. But with the struggles again today and everything else that's occurring, and if you want to keep Jake Jewell on roster, for instance, until the point where you need to cut him to bring up Cody Morris, then it might make sense to send down Eli Morgan, who struggled, who has options left, to call up Aaron Civale. And then you can always bring him back. Or, personally, I think, the other bit of news we got today is the Guardians only have one player who's not going to Toronto, and it is a shock to no one that it is 99. We all knew 99 wouldn't go. The question is, would there be anyone else? And there isn't. So we'll get into some of the options to go up with that particular situation. But just going back to today and going back to how they're going to get a starter for tomorrow. They're going to call up Civale. That means somebody needs to go down. So unless it is, Cody Morris is close enough that they are going to just go ahead and cut Jake Jewell, open a 40-man spot, call up Civale, and then move Morris onto the 40. But if they're not going to do that, it does make a lot of sense after he pitched today and continues to struggle. And we'll get into a little Eli Morgan today to send him down. We'll see if that happens, but that is my idea. Going into today's game, this one was a lot closer than it really needed to be. The Guardians had the advantage for most of the game. Shane Bieber was brilliant. 7 innings, 4 hits, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. 99. Like, my personal view was just go ahead and let that dude pitch the 9th. Right now, he might be their number 2 reliever, no worse than their number 3 reliever. Stefan, 99, Clase. That's your back end guys. But he had an 8-pitch inning. That's why I was kind of like, send him back out. Like, he's not going to pitch all weekend. He's still going to be okay to pitch tomorrow's game or, another game in this series. You're probably not going to have him pitch in all 3 games no matter what. But send him out, right? In the 8-pitch inning, he is okay to go out and pitch again. But another brilliant performance, very much looking like the pitcher of 2 years ago, which just completely resets the pen. Makes it a much more interesting pen. Eli Morgan, it was rough. Yes, one of the 2 earned runs came on a Class A wild pitch, but still, he got the bases loaded. He could not record outs. The ball 4 that he threw, I don't know if the ball slipped. His final throw, I don't know if the ball slipped or if it's just like he looked like he was giving up on the pitch partway through it. Just the body language was bad, and he needs a pick-me-up. He needs a confidence boost. He needs something, but the body language was pretty terrible in the 9th. Class A comes in, does have the wild pitch, but picks up and save 25 by getting the final out. Comes into an extreme high-pressure situation, does really well. Who reached base multiple times? Well, Amed continues to stay hot. 3 hits in this one, 2 hits by Oscar, 2 hits by Andres, a hit and a walk by Quan, and that was the only walk. Box score bingo of it all. Cleveland had 11 hits and 1 walk, so that gave them 12 opportunities. That should come to about 4 runs. They got 5 because they had a whole lot of extra base hits. Amed had 2 doubles, Quan had a double, Oscar had a double, Andres had a double. So that's 5 doubles right there, 5 extra base hits. That's how they got the extra run. Detroit had 6 hits and 3 walks. That's 9 opportunities. They should really have ended up with 3 runs, but they weren't, just weren't able to. Of those 9 opportunities, 4 of them came in the 9th inning. Like they had 5 opportunities in the first 8, then 4 in the 9th. It was a rough 9th inning. It made you be like, you have to beat the Tigers, right? You have to beat a bottom 3 team in baseball. 3 stars in this one. Well, Amed, pretty easy with 3 hits, and 2 of them being doubles. My co-host really wants to talk, but I'm not bringing him in right now. Bieber for going 7 innings and allowing 5 base runners. I think that is pretty easy as well. And then, I just kind of look at this and I go, was it Andres? Is it Oscar? I'm going to go with Andres for also the amazing defensive play he did in this one. He continues to be just a stellar player, a star up the middle for the Guardians, and someone I kind of hope they enter extension conversations with this offseason. I said the same thing about Franmil last year, so sometimes I don't get it right, but I would feel comfortable with that. The weird thing with this lineup, though, what is the point of calling up Ty Freeman? What is the point of calling up Will Benson? What is the point of calling up Nolan Jones when these guys aren't playing at all? Jones is... how are they going to get any rhythm, anything at all? I understand this is a lefty on the mound. This is not the ideal. But, Owen Miller is playing every day, and that's not ideal. Josh Naylor, he had Miller and Naylor both had timely hits in this one, but they were both pretty awful against lefties. Let Ty Freeman at least play. He should have played. I don't know where you put him. Have him play shortstop and let Amed DH today. That would have been fine. Use those players. Oscar's been solid since he's come back, but it's just interesting because, I don't know anyone who had him higher prospect-wise than, Nolan Jones, and I get that Oscar, got the first opportunity, he ran with it, but you need to let the other guys play, or they shouldn't be up. Like, you shouldn't have Jones and Benson up if you're not going to play either of them ever. I don't kind of get that. That's my one complaint right now. So far, as I don't understand the point of calling up the young players and then not letting them get any reps. We're going to take our first break here, come back, discuss a little Eli Morgan and what has gone wrong there, discuss who could be the replacement for 99 when they head to Toronto on today's Locked On Guardians. We have a new sponsor. Yeah, I always like it when we get a new one. Did you know the key to sustainable weight loss is through your liver? The liver is the body's metabolic furnace. It's responsible for flushing out harmful toxins and igniting your fat-burning metabolism. Thanks to modern diets, rich in unhealthy processed foods, and constant exposure to thousands of man-made and environmental toxins, most of us have overworked livers, but it's now easy to rejuvenate your liver health and reignite your metabolism thanks to Liver Health Formula by Pure Health Research. Liver Health Formula contains 8 liver-boosting super nutrients like turmeric, beet, and artichoke extract. I'm a big artichoke fan and a beet fan, honestly. All of which work together to wake up a sluggish liver and turn it into a toxin-flushing and fat-burning machine. No more bloated belly, no more uncomfortable digestion, no more feeling tired and low all the time, and best of all, Liver Health Formula makes it easy to maintain a healthy body long-term. As a listener of the show, you can try it free and get a free bottle of CurbFit with your order. CurbFit is a safe, natural appetite suppressant, making it easy to say no to naughty foods. That makes it the perfect complement to Liver Health Formula. Go to liverhelp.com/MLB to learn more. Again, that's getliverhelp.com/MLB to try Liver Health Formula completely risk-free and claim your free bottle of CurbFit with your order. Go to getliverhelp.com/MLB to get started today. So what's wrong with Eli Morgan? Well, watching him pitch, confidence is an issue, okay? Like, the confidence was not there in today's game. The other issue is honestly going through and looking at his data. We look at first half, we look at second half. What stands out between those two things is BABIP. He was incredibly lucky in the first half, a 170 BABIP. That's about 120 points below where it should be. So he was very lucky when he was really good. When he was a sub-2 ERA guy, he was incredibly lucky. Second half, the BABIP is 500. So for as unlucky or as lucky as he was, he's been even more unlucky. So it's going to balance out. My bigger concern with him right now is, again, confidence. Like, if you let me know if you think I'm reading too much in the body language. He looked shot. He looked like he didn't have any faith in what he was throwing by the end of that ninth inning. But yeah, it's just been a matter of batted ball luck. Batted ball luck has been pretty terrible. A 170 BABIP led to a 148 average. Now, like I said, that means that it should probably be closer to a 270 average, which would make him not as effective. But he stood at a 316 FIP. The second half, the 500 is led to a 417 average. Okay, so that means take about 210 points off that, and you're at a 200 average. So he has been incredibly unlucky. His FIP is still a 375. What is interesting is the xFIP for him is there's a big jump between the first and second half. Now, xFIP normalizes home run rates, and his home run rate in the second half has gone up, but only by about half, from 1.3 to 1.9. That's not a huge jump. I still prefer FIP to xFIP because I don't think you should give everyone equal home run rates. Some guys are more prone. But yeah, just looking at that very basic data, yeah, he's not missing bats like he did. That's the other big thing. He was striking out 33% of batters to 21% of batters. So they're seeing it better. They're hitting it much better. I don't know if he's tipping. I don't know if it's, now there's enough tape out there that it's just been easy to watch and pick things up. But it's very clear that confidence is an issue right now, and that, there is some bad luck, and that he's just, the book is out on him, and we're going to have to see how he can adjust in terms of what he throws. But it has not gone well for Eli Morgan in the second half, and it's just going to take him getting back to where he was confidence-wise, because that was the big thing for me. Watching that game tonight, by the time, he had already given up the run, and it's, he got it to another full count. He's a control specialist, and, his control was not good in that inning. Like, the reason I always really believed in him was because of his ability, having the 2+ pitch, having the plus change, one of the best in baseball, I would argue, and then just having the fastball just set up that was good enough. I've always believed in Eli Morgan. I've always been higher on him than the crowd. I'm just kind of curious to go pull up. Like, his fastball spin rate is not high. Interesting, they've added extension to the Savant data. But, expected batting average is great. Expected slugging, expected ERA, whiff percentage, expected or walk percentage, still 99th percentile. He does not walk many guys. K, 90th percentile. Chase rate, 72. Fastball velocity, 26. That is an issue. But yeah, his change is such a good pitch. It is his number 2 offering. His slider occasionally shows his 55% fastball, 32% change. He might even want to throw that more. But I think right now it's a matter of confidence and then just luck, unfortunately. So let's discuss 99 is not going to Toronto. It is what it is. Moving on. Who should replace him? Now, the obvious choice would be, do a Jewel, bring up Morris, run with that. But remember, this is a chance to let someone pitch who you don't have to add to the 40-man. He can be with the team for 3 days. You can use him up, or you can also reward a pitcher. So if I'm just going through and looking at the Columbus Clippers, like, top performers this year, is it, people will bring up Miklo Jack. He hasn't missed bats, and he's walked a lot of guys. Like, an 8.7 strikeout per 9 for his stuff is kind of low. And then a 4.6, his walk rate is up. So nothing against him. I thought he was going to be not in the rotation. I thought he'd be in the pen at some point this year. It just hasn't come together for him. You can go down the list. They've rewarded a few players already. Xavier Curry, we'll talk about him and Cody Morse in their game tonight in segment 3. You could do that. Tim Herron has been a little more walk, and he's been very hittable in AAA. But the guy who I think just keeps performing at a high level is Nick Enright. So 14 K per 9, 1.4 walk per 9, 1.9 home run per 9. Again, very home run heavy park. But still, he has been dominant at every stop, every point of the way. He's interesting because out of high school, he was a 19th round pick. Goes to Virginia Tech, right? Virginia Polytechnic Institute, that's Virginia Tech. And ends up being a 20th round pick out of school. So goes around later. And has just been a solid performer, working his way through the system, and then really popped this year. But go back to last year. His season, 13.7 strikeout per 9, 2.0 walk per 9. This year it's 12.5 and 2.1. He just continues to perform. I think Nick Enright makes a lot of sense in terms of rewarding a player who has done everything that's been asked of him, played at a high level, and played well. And you don't have to add him to the 40-man. I don't know. I'd have to check. Andrew, if you listen to the show, let me know. I talked about him on the show the other day at Fever Dog. He knows all the rules. I know adding Enright would not count towards a 40-man roster change. Does it affect service time? And I don't think he necessarily worries much about service time like someone like Enright. But I think he is kind of the interesting guy to consider down there if they're going to add someone. Now, there's always just the other way of, hey, we'll add Tanner Tully back again. And I don't necessarily argue against that just because Tully has been the ultimate organizational soldier. I think he's probably going to eventually be a coach. He has done everything they have ever asked of him without complaint. So they might reward him again. But I would really love to see an opportunity for them to bring up a guy who has not had that chance, and they have this opportunity to do it without affecting their 40-man roster. It's not going to be Bo Naylor. I can't see them bringing up a third catcher for that series. I know people thought it would be very cool if he could make his debut Canadian kid debut in Canada, but I just don't see that happening. We're going to take our next break. Now we talked about Enright, and we're going to come back and talk about AAA because there was a game tonight that was definitely worth talking about. We talked about Blue Nile at the top of the show. Let's continue to discuss our main sponsor for the day. That Blue Nile was the original online jeweler, and that they want to celebrate life's special moments by creating a custom ring. That's the big thing. This is not cookie cutter. It's not you're going to spend this money on jewelry and then see someone else wearing the exact same model or piece. This is original custom jewelry. Make your moments sparkle with Blue Nile. Blue Nile has simple online tools that you choose the diamond shape, size, and clarity, as well as setting and style. Blue Nile's bench jewelers will then handcraft the perfect engagement ring. Each ring is one of a kind. Looking for fine jewelry? Blue Nile has jewelry experts on hand 24/7, available by phone or chat to help you find a memorable gift at every budget and make your moment sparkle with jewelry from BlueNile.com. And going on now is the Blue Nile Anniversary Sale. Save up to 40% on classic fine jewelry pieces and 25% on engagement ring settings. Plus, every order is insured, ships free, and arrives in discreet packaging that won't give away what's inside. Shop stress-free and find your forever piece. Go to BlueNile.com today. So tonight, the Clippers were facing, I can't even tell what that emblem is. Twins minor league affiliate, Aaron Sanchez. I went and pulled up his numbers. I hadn't seen him in a while. Actually had a ton of former guys who pitched in the big leagues. So went Aaron Sanchez to Brian Moran to, I believe, Phil Gossett, Jarrell Cotton, Drew Stoutman. And I didn't look at Feliz to see if that's Nefalidi for Feliz, but no, Michael Feliz. So there we go, the one guy who I don't believe has pitched in the majors. But yeah, they had a bunch of former pitchers go in this one, but nothing compared. Curry had a no-hitter entering the sixth. He ends up giving up 2 runs. Excuse me. Got a bit of the hiccups right now. He gave up 2 hits, walked 4, struck out 6. Then Cody Morris comes in. And what does Cody Morris do in 3 innings? Strikes out 7 out of 9 batters. Records, I should say, 7 out of 9 outs, and then strikes out 7 out of the 10 batters he faced, allowing 1 walk and no hits. First inning, mid-90s. Second inning, I was looking at a tweet from Zach at Vino. Sorry, dude. Having a moment. But, he said he was 97 in the second one. It was just, utter nails by those 2 players against the Twins minor league affiliate. And that's a team that's got some good players in it. I believe it's got, we have a brother battle. I don't think, no. Because Jermaine is, Palacios is not the one. It's not Josh. Because Josh and Richie are the brothers. I think that might be a cousin. Matt Wallner's an interesting prospect. Bishop's been around. Ben Bishop, I believe, has been around. So there's some players in this that stood out. Was this George Valera's AAA debut? Might have been, right? He had 2 walks, no hits in this one, 2 strikeouts. It was. But what stood out is the pitching. I mean, what Curry and Morris did. Final line for the 2 pitchers: 9 innings, 2 hits, 5 walks, 13 strikeouts. They were dominant. I believe Morris needs to be added in the less than a week, and at which point we assume Jake Jewell will go away. That's what probably makes the most sense. And then I don't know if they're gonna, move him up immediately. Listen, Brian Shaw isn't going anywhere. Let's be honest. He's not. He's gonna keep getting opportunities and keep making more and more money because his bonus is not based on performance. It's based on just appearances. So he'll keep appearing. But Morris should be one of those players that, when the roster expands. When the roster expands, they'll bring up a pitcher and they'll bring up a third catcher. Probably Lavastida over Naylor because they're going to want Naylor to play every day. And he's already on the 40-man. Lavastida is not Naylor, so they'll probably do that. I feel like those are the natural go-tos. That's going to be kind of their big move. I don't know if you're out there and you're like, that doesn't count as a big move. Fair enough. But this is not really been a team making big moves all year. They just continue to be successful, and they're in first place. So we can mock them and say all we want, but at the end of the day, they're in first place. It is mid-August. They're in first place. They continue to be a very interesting young team where the top prospects haven't even really hit yet. We haven't seen so many of the really interesting young kids, but we will in the next year or so. I can say here, according to @JL_baseball, Morris's rehab status ends 8/12, so he does need to be added to the 40-man this weekend. So the question is, when he has to be added, do they promote him and put 99 on the unable to play list? Do they give someone else like Enright that opportunity? I'm not sure, but right now they have some fun options, and that's the thing. You go and you look at this pen. Morgan is struggling. There's no doubt about that. But I mean, Henches in his role, solid. Samlin has been great since he has returned. 99 since he has returned has been basically the guy where he was a top 10 reliever in baseball. Clase might be the best reliever in baseball and has made a strong case for it. Trevor Stephan has been solid all year as a back-end role. You go through this list, and Eniel de los Santos, I mean, he's worked. He is fine. He is a major league bullpen option that you're not looking to upgrade from. Jake Jewell hasn't played. He had some good numbers in the minors, but Jewell, Morgan, and Shaw, And again, I feel like a lot of it with Morgan is bad luck, and then, like I said, tonight looked some confident stuff. So you figure things out, but Shaw should be gone. Let's just say it. Shaw should be gone. With what Morris is showing, he should be up. Especially because you leave Shaw on this roster, you're just costing yourself money. I'm almost surprised that no one's like, hey, let's just let him go anyways, just to save money, because he's gonna keep hitting those escalators, because Tito's not gonna stop rolling him out there until you literally have to roll him out there. That's when it would end. But that's where this team is. They are in first place, and I get to complain about bullpen because, like I said, it's minor quibbles. It's just the minorest of quibbles. It's that. It's not letting the young kids play. It's for someone who gets very focused on platoon splits. Ty Freeman should have been out there today. He should have been. That's if you're gonna trust Ernie Clement against every left-handed pitcher, then please trust Ty Freeman against them. But it's that. It's a fun team. The lineup is so diametrically different from this time a year ago. If I pulled up one of those lineups, it would be amazing to look at the change. It has been a fun year. Hopefully, like I said, we'll continue to see some of these young kids play, and we'll see a team that maybe can find their way into the postseason. I've been Jeff Ellis. This has been the Locked On Guardians podcast for today. Remember to rate and review, download daily. It helps. Subscribe on iTunes. I think you can now. No, you follow on iTunes. You subscribe on YouTube. And just in terms of some things, I always do at the end here. Thank you to Shaunisms for the review on iTunes. Thank you to Nuvb Guy. I appreciated your Ty Freeman statement. But what I appreciate most about that Ty Freeman statement is shows we can disagree but still have fun talking about the Guardians. And thank you to Belligerent Smurf. I like that name there, Belligerent Smurf. Thank you for your reviews. And hey, we pushed the Irate Twins fan out of the top reviews. Again, thank you all. Let's keep pushing, get those numbers flying as this team flies to the postseason. Again, I've been Jeff Ellis. You can hit me up on Twitter at JeffMLBDraft, or you can just leave a comment here on the YouTubes. I always respond to them, as long as you're not a bot posting things in Spanish about a personal, private nature. Those I just delete. Or if you're being belligerent about name change, I will delete that as well, because I can't add to that discussion. If you want to talk about things, we can totally talk about things, but if it's just like thumbs down, I'm like, I didn't change the name. Thank you for listening, and as I end every show now, go Guardians go.